Everybody, hope today I want to talk about something. I'm going to show you a tweet in a second, and I have a question of why the media in America, big tech in America, American corporations hate us, hate Republicans, conservatives, and really anyone that disagrees with their narratives more than they hate these adversaries across the world that they claim that they're taking on economically and socially and democracy. Let's look at the tweet I'm talking about as people are coming in, then we'll revisit it. This is Steve Scalise. He said Trump can't tweet, but the Kremlin can. Babylon Bee can't tweet, but the Chinese Communist Party can. Members of Congress can't tweet, but the Ayatollah and Taliban can. They only target conservatives and they don't even try to hide it anymore. We must hold big tech accountable. So that's the tweet we're going to be talking about today, folks. Steve Scalise asking some genuine questions is why are so many conservatives, Republicans, and people that disagree with the Democratic Party punished on social media, but some of these foreign countries are not. First off, I have to say, we're going to reread the tweet once people come in, and then I really have to explain my perspective on it. But I don't wish for the Chinese Communist Party to be censored on Twitter. I don't think the Kremlin should be censored. I don't even think the Taliban and Iran should be censored. I believe that they should have, if this is a public sphere where everyone's talking, I think they should be able to chat, converse, speak the government official narrative. I don't want to know what other people think of them. I want to know what they're saying. So I think they should be allowed to tweet. I'm not coming for their speech in America. I think it's great when governments can tweet so we know what they're saying versus what the media lies about. They lie about literally everything. Russia, Ukraine, America. The media in America is one of the most deceitful, degenerate sources of information out there. They control, they rig algorithms, they punish you for posting Dr. Fauci videos. They're literally insane. So I'm not asking for them to punish other people or other countries. I think it's great when you can hear authentic information, even if it's not true, just to know that's where it came from and that's what the Chinese government really thinks. But let's read that tweet again. And we really have to get into the psychology of how much the American media really hates the people of America. Like they hate you more than some of your own worst enemies do. I'm just going to read this. Steve Scalise said Trump can't tweet, but the Kremlin can. The Babylon Bee can't tweet, but the Chinese Communist Party can. Members of Congress can't tweet, but the Ayatollah and Taliban can. They only target conservatives and they don't even try to hide it anymore. We must hold big tech accountable. Once again, I'm not calling for the censorship of the Kremlin or China. I'm just saying, how crazy is that Donald Trump cannot tweet? The Babylon Bee cannot tweet at certain ports. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I believe, had her Twitter account deleted. Our own media goes harder at our own citizens than they do foreign countries. You're literally better off being a foreign leader or some lunatic in another country saying something 20 times as crazy as an American citizen than you are being a Republican, Christian-leaning parody site making a gender joke. Like that's how bad the media really is in this country. And I'm not doing that to scare people or be repetitive or redundant. I just want to let people know, because I know everybody's like looking all around, like what's going on. It's just worth noting how much they hate us and how much they're trying to hold us back. We look at Zelensky in Ukraine, who consolidated political parties. He consolidated the media. He's going full authoritarian, but you don't really hear it reported because our press tries to do the same thing. They try to get rid of the opposition leader. I mean, what are they doing by doing that to Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene? You're allowed to be Republican unless you say, a little too much, then they'll take you off. It's just mind-boggling to really realize and understand that you literally have less freedom in America on social media than a lot of foreign, countries and foreign leaders. They can literally say almost whatever they want. But if you have an opinion that disagrees with, the Democrats, that's what they do. I just thought that tweet was really telling. I'm not calling for the censorship of them. It's a very, very telling tweet just to show you how far that the, big tech and the Democrat media will go to unevenly enforce certain things against our own people. The opposition party that's supposed to hold them accountable, they're not looking to be held accountable. They're looking to act as if it's a hate crime or a hate speech in order for you to disagree with them. I want to play this clip of Malcolm X because I feel like it ties in. This is one of my favorite clips ever.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf.
So that's such a great Malcolm X quote. But he says, the liberal, Western liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western hemisphere, more deceitful, like a fox. They're always trying to fool you, smile, stab you in the back. And that's what you're seeing today. It's like, I don't care that liberals disagree with me. They're not liberals, they're authoritarian. I don't care that the Democrats have all this stuff they want to push. At least allow a conversation. But they're sucking us out of the public sphere and allowing foreign countries. I mean, it's as if they're working against our own country. Imagine, they might as well just be run by China or another country at this point. It's like they're actively working harder against their own people and applying freedom to other countries that don't even have freedom, giving other countries more freedom on an American platform than an American citizen. It's literally insane. I know people are getting sick of it. It's like so normalized now, and everybody knows it seems like a generic thing to talk about. I knew it wouldn't be my most popular talk, but I just wanted to put it in perspective. That Steve Scalise tweet, and I know everybody knows the media is wicked. That we know that they don't agree with us, but just to really lay it out there like that and be like, wow, really? You are better off being a foreign enemy of America economically, socially, politically, democratically, than you are to be a peaceful, legal, law-abiding, many times completely honest citizen of America. How are we ever going to win anything when we have our own major corporations working against the interests of Americans harder than some foreign countries are? It's crazy. I'm going to put some stuff on the screen for you guys. I'm not going to be here for too long. I just wanted to really paint that, lay that out in like a simple, easy way to understand. It's not about just left or right, or I agree or disagree with this. If this was happening in the Republican Party and Republicans controlled big tech and they were just banning liberals left and right, but they were allowing like communist Cuba and communist China to speak, I would say the same thing. Once again, I would say I wouldn't want to, censor Cuba. I don't want to censor China. I want to know what Cuba's saying. I don't want to hear what liberals say about it or Fox News. I want to respect myself and hear exactly what they're saying so I can have an opinion of it myself. If that's really the government of Cuba or China, I don't have to agree with their communism. However, I want to know what they're actually doing. I don't want to hear it through Jen Psaki. I don't want to hear it through Joe Biden. I don't want to hear it butchered through Rachel Maddow. I want to hear it directly from the source. So I am not calling for the censorship of China or Iran. I like the fact that they could tweet. Even the Taliban, if they're out there and they have an ideology, I want to hear it. I don't want it to be perverted through the media. But how crazy is it that the Taliban can literally tweet, Iran and China and all these people that we claim were economically, even the Kremlin, in certain cases can post on social media. And I want them to. I don't think it's a good idea to banish RT and Putin. I think that's crazy because I want to hear him. I don't want to hear your lie. They lie about everything. Donald Trump, they made up hoaxes for 3 years. They're like, he said this, he said that. They don't even tell the truth about what's going on in our own country, let alone another country. So I want to be able to hear foreign countries that I disagree with and understand why I disagree with them. Let alone it's just mind blowing that literally you have the biggest enemy of America right now is able to tweet and post on Facebook easier than American citizens and American politicians and the American, what I would still consider, even though I don't trust him, the opposition leader, Donald Trump. He deserves a voice, obviously. Even, it's crazy that more people don't see what they're doing. They're becoming full-blown authoritarians and they are punishing our own country over others. And I pray that people wake up soon. And I think a lot of people are. But someone messaged me on Instagram and said, hey, Anomaly, I shared your Fauci video from yesterday. And, they penalized me on Facebook. I mean, think about this, folks. You are literally getting penalized for posting a Fauci video. Like, you're not even allowed to share an inconvenient video. It's like, well, yeah, Fauci did say that about, the flu vaccine, but we don't want people to see that. And we don't want people to think that way. So we're going to tell them how to think. It's like, we don't live in a free country. I had a conversation with my Muslim and Jewish friend today, a Christian Muslim Jew. Check it out. Some people got triggered. Others liked it. But I was explaining, like, I don't fake the funk. I'm not like, America's free. It's amazing. It's amazing. I appreciate it. I'm grateful. I love it. You could still win. You could still make money. I'm not hating on America. I love America, but we are not America of 1990. I'm sorry. This is not a free country anymore. I'm under FISA law. If I went to Islam country and if I went to Dubai or something, I have to understand, hey, if I smoke weed or I do something, they might throw me in jail. That's their rules. It doesn't mean I hate Dubai. It just means I know I'm in a Muslim country and I have to act like it. That's just the reality of it. In America, I'm not free. I'm not in a free country. I live in FISA law. Instead of Allah worship, we have Pfizer worship, Fauci worship, Democrat worship. And if you disagree with the narrative, if you post a video of Fauci, even if it's an authentic, real video that he said, you could be penalized for it. I've been penalized for it. My supporters have been penalized for it. For what? For sharing an inconvenient video of Dr. Fauci of something he said? Oh no, you can't do that. They love Fauci, but you can't share a video of him. I mean, we don't live in a free country at all. And I just pray that people understand not to freak out about it, not to get upset. Do what you can, speak your truth, speak the truth. Be honest. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling people to get off major platforms because I think it's still a public sphere that's worth talking in, but we have to, legally, peacefully, nothing crazy, but like apply the pressure, ideologically to these people and try to let them know how wicked they are. That's all I have is my voice. And I like to look it right in the face and say, Facebook, what you're doing is evil. If you're one of these people, you're a wicked person. You're not on the side of good. You're not on the great side of liberalism. You guys are authoritarians. You are punishing American citizens, American patriots, American conservatives, libertarians, Trump supporters, Trump himself, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Babylon Bee, satire parody accounts. You are punishing them harder than you're punishing the Kremlin in certain cases. You're punishing them harder than you're punishing, China in some cases. You're making it harder for Americans to hear the opposition party in America than to hear a communist, country that we don't even get along with that well. But we get a lot of products from. So it's like I don't understand where this is going. I'm optimistic, positive, but I just wanted to lay that out because I'll read it one more time. Then I'm going to get to some of your questions. And then I'm going to take off. I think this tweet, it really, really nailed it. I'm going to read it one more time so people who just came in can see. Steve Scalise said, Trump can't tweet, but the Kremlin can. That's crazy alone. I mean, Donald Trump is possibly he is the front runner for 2024. I don't know if he's going to run or not, but it seems like it. The front runner to be the next president, who was the last president of the United States, can't use Twitter, but the Kremlin can. The Babylon Bee, a parody page that literally makes jokes, can't tweet, but the Chinese Communist Party can. Members of the Congress can't tweet, but the Ayatollah and Taliban can. They only target conservatives and they don't even try to hide it anymore. We must hold big tech accountable. I don't think there's a better explanation than that. When I saw that, I'm like, wow, that's really good. We all know what Steve's saying, but he just put it so perfectly. And once again, I'm not calling for the censorship of any of those groups, any of those governments. I do not believe they should be censored. I believe they should be allowed to speak so we know what they think. If we don't know what they think, how are we going to know who we are? They are. We don't know who they are because the media just lies about everything. So it just puts into perspective that our government is crazy, and the media is like the wing of the Democratic Party. They're like, what if we censored all these opposition leaders? It's like, that's very undemocratic. That's exactly what they're doing. And it really puts in perspective that we are being punished and targeted by our own media harder than they're targeting other countries. And I don't know what other news analysts are saying. I don't watch really Fox and stuff, but the people that are like Ukraine, I'm trying to brainwash Republicans into being like a liberal in this topic. I'm not saying you can't support one country over the other, but your own media that controls all your data, all your information, your live, most of your time, all of this control, they could put something out and change the minds of like tens of millions of people instantly. They're working against you in some cases harder than a foreign country is. So internally, I think I'm not going to blame it on him, but I think Trump dropped the ball or at least underestimated how wicked and far big tech would go. And now, we're not in power in politics and they are going further and further and further. Absolutely. They must be held accountable in some way because I mean, they don't even have an excuse anymore. It's like you're gonna censor an American Trump voter and Trump, but you're not gonna censor the Taliban. Like they don't. The only thing that makes sense is they don't like us. They hate us more than the Taliban. They hate us more than ISIS. I remember when Washington Post was writing puff pieces, just normalizing ISIS for years. Think about the programming they did before Trump got in during Obama. They said, ISIS is the scariest thing. ISIS, be afraid of ISIS. ISIS is a big threat. They're destroying the Middle East. They're evil. I actually agree. I think ISIS is evil. I'm not like an ISIS sympathizer. I think ISIS is evil. But the crazy part is Trump said, I'm going to defeat ISIS. I'm going to get rid of them. He actually did do a good job against ISIS. Did he completely beat them? No, but pretty much he did what he said he was going to do. How did he do it? I think defunding a lot of stuff did that. He cut billions of dollars to some secret CIA program. All of a sudden they take, they don't have that much power anymore. But anyway, it's debatable how it happened, but Trump did what he said he would do one way or another. And ISIS went from controlling all of Syria to controlling barely nothing in Syria. And guess what the media did after that? Think about how crazy they are, folks. These people in the media are seriously more wicked and worse than anybody in another country that you think is so bad. They're as bad. And I'm not saying, I'm not trying to dehumanize them or say they're humans, they're wicked. They need to, get back to reality. But in general, after scaring you with ISIS, saying they're the worst people in the world, Trump gets rid of them. So now there's no fear tactic to ISIS. They actually started writing puff pieces in the media saying, here's why you should want ISIS to return to America. I'm not joking. Like, it was like, these ISIS brides, oh my gosh, you should feel so bad for them. Bring them back to America. It's like, after 5 years of you telling us how evil ISIS wants to kill us, now you're writing puff pieces to say that ISIS should come to America? I'm not being sarcastic. I remember when that happened, maybe it was 2018, 2019. I was like, it was like the Women's March and stuff. I knew things weren't that bad, but I'm like, okay, if the media can say up is down, down is up, left is right, right is left, good is evil, evil's good, true is false, false is true. I'm like, this country is going to go to shit very soon. In 2020, lockdowns, COVID, it really did. And I'm not a pessimist. I mean, I'm enjoying myself. I'm trying to make the most of it. But I'm like, if they can, after 6 years of fear mongering about how evil ISIS is, turn around and write a puff piece about ISIS, and they're treating ISIS better than they treat me in the media. They're treating ISIS better than they treat conservative grandmas. They're treating ISIS better than they treat Trump. They're treating ISIS better than they treat, random MAGA people. I'm like, this country is going to a dark place, and I'm not trying to scare people. I'm not fear mongering. It's just true. Like, if they can take what they consider the most evil entity in the world and then write a puff piece for why they should return to America, these people have no soul. No soul. They'll lie about literally anything. They will take the worst thing in the world and try to tell you need it in your country. It's like, I actually agree with the media. I've looked into ISIS. I've watched the videos. It's not just a mainstream narrative. They were they were wild people, man. That was like the jihadi / really, I would say, Wahhabist ideology. I just had my Muslim friend on. He doesn't act like that. It's not like everyone in the Muslim world acts like that. It's a fringe minority, and they're the worst. And our media is like, yeah, you should bring them back to our country. It's like, what? I just want people to, I know Trump said that the media was, the enemy of the world or whatever he said. And a lot of people understand, but I just want to like really break down. It's like, they literally despise us more than they despise countries they claim to be against. I don't even know if liberalism and left-wingism in reality now. Someone said springtime is awesome. I agree. Have a good day. But I let me see if it came on. Sorry, I tried to get springtime is awesome. Get some good vibes in here, but I was trying to think of where I was going with that, but with the modern left-wing culture, when it comes to like how they think, I don't see any parallels to any sort of logic besides they just really hate Americans in America. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh, everybody who disagrees with me hates America. Think about it. Like, they're so against conservatism, but they're like intersectional to Islam. Islam is way more conservative than Christianity. They don't love Islam. They just hate Christians and they hate America. So they just pretend, and they'll lie about anything. They're like, we hate ISIS. ISIS isn't that bad. Like, they'll say stuff and you're like, what? Nothing they say makes sense. They're conservative and they want women's rights, but they kowtow and pander to countries that have like very little women's rights. So it's like, what do left wingers agree on? Like, what is their logical stance? Since it's not what they claim, has nothing to do with like, any sort of reason, they really just like have this insatiable hate for right-wing ideology. And it's why, even if you're right wing, you shouldn't hate the left wing, because when you hate too much, you become a product of hate. It wears on you and you just become a wicked person. You have to love yourself. You have to love others. You have to love, your community, and you have to forgive. You don't have to forget and hang out with everybody, but this is why the left is really rotting. They don't have any logical stances on like women. It's all a lie. It's just like, we viciously hate you and we'll pretend to do whatever the opposite. You drink water, we hate water. You like Putin, we hate Putin. You hate Putin, we like Putin. You hate ISIS, we like ISIS. Like, it's just like they're playing opposite day with conservatives to be like, yeah, we don't actually believe that. We will do anything we can to, put you somewhere else. And I think one thing that I've tried to explain with the transgender sports thing, I think this is an interesting angle to it. Okay, biologically born men playing women's sports. I mean, obviously, most people with half a brain understand what's going on there. But let's just play along with the left, right? I just want to show you how little they believe anything they say. let's start with, actually, before we get into that, let's start with believe all women. Oh, Christy Blasey Ford, believe all women, believe all women. It went from believe all women to what's a woman? I'm not a biologist. So you literally, this is a woman, this is a gender. I believe this gender. This gender's better than men. I believe them. They're more trustworthy. And a couple of years later, they go from believe all women to what is a woman? I'm not expert. It's like, but your whole point a couple of years ago was that was the gender you believe. Now you don't even believe in that gender. They don't believe anything they actually say. And then let's move forward to the transgender sports thing. Let's say I'm left wing. I'm not, but let's just say I am. And it's like, okay, I think this is just hypothetical. I think it's okay for someone who is literally believes they're a woman to play women's sports as long as they really believe themselves and that's who they are, right? I agree with transgender sports. Let's just say that's my left wing stance. Even if I believe that, you have to remember left wing people are like, men are so corrupt, believe women, blah, blah. Do they not think that there's going to be men that take advantage of that? Like, let's say there's 20 transgender swimmers, 15 of them are actually transgender and they're going through the process. The other 5 are just dudes who don't even feel like a woman, who are just scumbag men who are trying to take advantage of women. Like, do they not think that that's going to happen? Of course it's going to happen, because where do you draw the line? It's like you have to make a line. If you don't have a line, there will be men, biological men, who don't feel like women, who don't even really want to transition into a woman, who are going to say they're a woman, and you're going to have to pretty much let them go because there's no line to draw. So what I'm trying to say is, even if I agreed with them, I don't. If I did agree with them, even listen to all their logic and said, I agree with you, a transgender swimmer should be allowed, there's no difference, whatever, it's all the same. There's going to be people who take advantage of it who don't feel that way. And the fact that they're not even able to identify that just proves either they're the dumbest and most naive people on the planet, or they're lying. I'm having a hard time believing now that there's that many people that are this naive. I think a lot of them are just pathological liars. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're lying to themselves, they're lying to other people, and they either are doing it to save face in society, or they've just become so evil. I mean, you lie enough, you just turn into a big liar, I guess. I don't really know, but it's like, even if I agreed with their exact ideology that that's okay, the fact that they don't think that any men would take advantage of that and just pretend and not really actually make the transition or want to transition, it just shows how fake they are. They're just fake. And the faker they get, the more they censor. The crazier, the slippery the slope gets, the further down they go. They do everything Christian pastors said they were going to do. They said, oh, we just want to get married. They've gone further than I even imagined they would go. And now they want to censor more. The further they go, the more they push the ideology on your kids, the more they want to censor, the more they want to control. They're off the rails. And I think, I pray that people, I don't want, once again, I don't really like, I'm not trying to be rude. And I know people like, I know a lot of people are going to get upset or whatever, but like, I don't really listen to Trump anymore. Like, I used to really respect him and look up to him, like, oh, he's a leader. Like, he's really like leading the path to the right place. Now he just reminds me of like a clown. I would vote for him over Biden for sure. I think his foreign policy was a million times better. But it's like, I don't look to him for guidance or leadership. And to be honest, I don't really listen to him, but I would vote for him over Biden. However, it's like, I don't know what other right-wing people are saying, but like, it's like, I look at Fox News and I'm like, man, a lot of these people are leading Republicans astray. Like, they're like, oh, we got to fight Ukraine, or like, we got to do, and I'm like, they're saying all this, like, get your booster in order to, fight the Biden administration. You got to get boosted. It's your choice. But it's like, and I'm like listening to their narrative. I don't care what people do medically. It's not up to me. But like, their narrative is so awesome. It's like Ron DeSantis is somebody that I think has a good narrative. He seems like the only one who gets it at this point. Like, he has a narrative. He's sticking to it. He's pushing forward. I respect it. And the further he pushes, the more unhinged they're going to get, which is fine. But, it's like, I don't know what other conservatives are saying, but I hope people realize, and I know that Trump has echoed this many a times. He made this famous. The media, and I'm not doing this to scare people or make you feel bad, because peace, love, that's the way. The media hates you more than they hate anything in the world. The left doesn't think about anything anymore. The only thing that they seem to agree on is just disagree with you, hate you, take away your stuff, lock you in your house, put a mask on your kids, teach them sexuality at a young age, ban you from talking about it, punish you for posting a Dr. Fauci article, and then give you worse treatment than they give the Kremlin and communist China. Like, they have American politicians are more censored in some cases on Twitter than other parties of other countries. I don't understand how they get away with this stuff. I guess they get away with it because everybody's so busy going all over the place. When Republicans get into office, they just kind of, they do like a controlled opposition thing. They're like patriots and they never do anything. It's like, dude, this has to go against something. I know with what Clarence Thomas said with the phones, phone companies, they can't just ban people during an election. Imagine if, Sprint or T-Mobile or Verizon or whatever you have, imagine if they started cutting your calls during an election. You know what I'm saying? They could do that, right? They're a private company. No, they can't do that because they're under some sort of legal agreement where it's like, you're not just a company anymore. You're a public service. You're a public utility. If they were to allow people to cut off their phones, this country would be like full-blown communist. We're pretty close, but it's like that is saving us because people have identified a phone is more than just a public company. It's like everybody uses it, and we need to have the public sphere. Twitter is like a bigger public sphere, and Facebook is a bigger public sphere at this point than even our cell phones are. So the fact that they're not operating under that law, I'm sorry, but it should have been nipped in the bud under Trump. And, if conservatives ever get lucky enough to get back into power after big tech is literally banning your opposition leaders, like, this is why I was so confused why Trump wasn't thinking about it that much. Like he did a little bit, but he kept saying like, and once again, I'm not trying to blame him. I'm just being honest. He was like, oh, I won in 2020. I'll win again. Or I won in 2016. I'll win again. I'm thinking to myself, bro, sir, excuse me. I don't want to be disrespectful, sir. Mr. President, I like you. I want you to win. You're totally underestimating how much power they have because in 2016, you slipped through the matrix cracks. In 2020, they're going to do everything they can to make sure you don't. And once you got out of power, it's almost like, and I'm not trying to blame him again. Either he's in on it and he set everybody up at the Capitol, or he's like the goofiest, like most narcissistic leader that's not thinking about 5D chess. Like if you are in an election, you got 14 days left. If you're having an event at the Capitol, you got to watch yourself, bro, because they're looking they're looking for a reason to frame you. They're looking for a reason to call you an insurrection. So when you play right into their hands, or at least just tell everybody to come and everybody thinks that you're going to, Mike Pence is going to do something. I'm not blaming him. I don't think it's his fault, but it's not like he should go to jail or anything. I'm just saying as an opposition leader, it's like selling booster shots. He should be allowed to do that. But at a certain point, you're not an effective leader if you're not thinking about what big tech's going to do and also what the Democrats are going to do. So it's like we played right into their hands. They banished him, threw people in jail, did all this stuff. And now I think the next election is probably going to go Republican as long as nothing crazy happens. And I pray when Republicans get into power that they really hold this stuff accountable because it's getting really crazy with the forced masking, forced vaccination. Like that's crazy enough, let alone, all this censorship and stuff. I'm not playing the victim, but it's like bizarro world. I share a video of Fauci. Literally, it's just like a video. Like you could share a video of Trump saying they're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists. You're allowed to share that video, but the problem is the left lied about it and they didn't show. They're just like making fake things he didn't say. I'm just sharing a video of Fauci and it gets banned off TikTok. It's a problem on Facebook sometimes. They're demonetizing my channel. It's like I can't run a business on these companies. I mean, I can and I'm fine. It's not the end of the world or anything. I'm a hustler. I'm gonna get mine. They can't stop me. I'm just letting you know, you could try. Anything that you do to me will bounce off you. I'm not doing this for myself or, for wicked ways. I'm doing this out of righteousness. So I'm not even letting them think they can stop me because they can't. But it's like this country, it's just like, it's becoming less and less, desirable and more enslaved, more and more like I could literally lose everything by just talking about genders, like whether I'm joking or not. When I was young, it was like, oh, you're a girl. You could just call a boy a girl, literally. Like, Anomaly, you're a girl. Or I say, Jimmy, you're a girl. You could just make fun of somebody, even if they weren't a girl. So let alone someone transgender where it's like, it's like a gray area. You're not allowed to say one or the other. Dude, you should be able to call a girl a boy a girl. I mean, you should be nice. I think it's nice to be nice, but a hate speech law where do you draw the line? They don't draw the line. You know where they draw the line? Babylon Bee. That's where they draw the line. The Babylon Bee can tweet, but the Communist Chinese Party can. I'm sorry. I don't listen to conservative news really that much. So I don't know what like Fox is saying. But if you think anybody besides the media and the Democratic Party, like, oh, Ukraine, we got to send this. It's like, dude, your own big tech, which controls more than Russia, Ukraine, China, like Facebook, Google, they literally are working against us on almost every front, as if like we're this foreign party or something. Like they treat us worse than the Kremlin and the Communist Chinese Party. And I'm not asking them to censor Kremlin or Communist China. I don't think they should. It's just like I'm tired of being like treated this way in my country. And I'm not, once again, I'm not crying like, oh, I'm such a victim. I'm not. This is my voice. I'm a human being. I'm a citizen. I'm a man. I'm going to use my voice to the extent that I possibly can to let them know this is wrong at every level. So, it's like I'm not complaining. I'm just letting them know I know what they're doing. I'm going to keep talking to my audience about it. And no matter what they do, what they take from me, I'm just going to keep marching forward because the more they try to do stuff to me, the more inspired I am, the harder I work. So I have zero quit. There's nothing they could do to me to stop my hustle. But in general, I'm not, I just want to let people know I'm not complaining about it. I'm just strongly addressing it because it's one of those things that it's just not going away. I'm a positive person. I had a great day. I played tennis with my buddy. I'm going to enjoy my weekend. I'm not like a downer. It's springtime. It's beautiful. God is great. America is good. But this is one of those things that, it's not going away. And the longer these people get away with it, the worse it gets. And here's how we win. You saw, even though I don't know how great he's going to do, the guy in Virginia, the Republican one, it's as big of a statement as it is like, do Republicans really do a lot when they're in power? A lot of them actually don't. But that was a statement. Parents are taking control of their own families, right? We are not voting for the Democrats because you did too much with the parent-teacher conferences. That was a big message. Even if Youngkin drops the ball a little bit, I don't know if he's doing well or not. I don't live there. But, it's a message to these corrupt politicians, even if you get someone in that's like whatever, like let them know that like once they know you're caught onto it, that's when they shift. And that's another message that I think I really want to get along to people, because sometimes people say run for office, run for politics. When Donald Trump ran for president, if you really look systemically, I mean, he definitely did some good things. Foreign policy, great. Oil reserves. Trump was a way better president than Biden. There's no denying that. No matter how upset I get at Trump, way better president than Biden. Would still have to vote for him over Biden. He just wouldn't be my first choice. I'd rather a few other people. However, really what Trump contributed was also cultural. He shifted the culture, right? In some cases, he made the left go to Looney Town, but maybe they were always going there. It's not his fault. But he shifted the culture, and that's almost as big of an accomplishment as any policy that Trump did, was letting people know how evil the media was. I think that was like one of his biggest accomplishments, because it's hard to explain or process how society works, where it's like, it's not just like politicians do what you think. It's like the media and the culture is shifting the mindsets of the people to the point where in 2000, Obama was against gay marriage. In 2022, Fox News is hiring Caitlyn Jenner. And I'm not saying you have to dislike Caitlyn Jenner. I'm just saying, look how much society has changed from the Democrats and Republicans agreeing gay marriage should be illegal, let alone all this other stuff, then to the Republican opposition media hiring a transgender reporter. I mean, you can't deny, no matter what you think of Caitlyn Jenner, that the Overton window has shifted way far in the left-wing direction. That's just the reality of it. So I think, in general, people think that politicians are doing a lot. In reality, it's the culture and the media that shifts, and then the politicians shift. If, everybody figures out what Joe Biden's doing, he's going to shift. He's going to have to shift. Other people are going to, oh, they caught us. Rochelle Walensky did that. She said, oh, it's not just science, it's social science too. We try to see how much people will put up with. So I think there's a big element of like, yes, you can vote and observe, but also we have to be a part of the culture, the media, the shifting of that, because, they're pushing us towards hell. And it's not just voting. It's like, and that's what Trump did. Someone said he opened my eyes. Even with his policies and stuff, one of the greatest accomplishments he did was culturally woke up millions of people to how wicked the media was. That was one of his greatest accomplishments. And, he still deserves credit for it. And he's still chugging away. He just is who he is. And at this point, I wonder if at his age and et cetera, like, to me, I think it's time for like someone like Ron DeSantis to step up for the Republicans. But, it's not up to me. My opinion doesn't really matter. And, people will do what they want and vote for who they want. And the Republican Party will choose who they want. But let's see. Someone said Trump's best accomplishment was preventing HRC from taking office. No, I agree. I mean, he definitely didn't let her in office, and he definitely got a few things done for the country. It's just crazy how quick it all can unravel. Someone said Republicans win office but are never comfortable wielding power, lack of moral courage. Washington Generals, they can grow balls with sufficient pressure from their voters. Let's end on that one. Will, I agree with that. And I think that's where it is. I think a lot of them kind of just go with the motion, and it's like they're not a Democrat. And that's the good thing. But yeah, I think it all changes when the culture changes. So we can't, we can't just talk about it, which, I try to do, but we also have to figure out ways that we could push it in the right direction. So I think, that's actually a positive thing. Have a great weekend. And I think it's not a bad thing to me. Like when I used to tell people, like, it's not just voting for Trump, like that'll, that's one thing. But like people would get mad at me. They're like, if it's not Trump, then who? And I'm like, I'm not saying that. Like people always misconstrue me. I'm like, I'm not saying that like he's ruining everything ever. Like he's Mr. Bad Guy. I'm just saying like in my opinion, it's empowering. It's like, oh yeah, it's not just, the Republican, like we have to be a part of the change. We have to, play our role in society on a small, big, if everybody does a little, we can all win really good. We all have to get better. We all have to heal ourselves, drop the fear, drop the anger, stuff like that, to make this country better. It starts from the root up. So I don't think it's like necessarily a bad thing, but people sometimes take it bad. They're like, what do you mean Ron DeSantis is not going to save the whole country? I'm just saying he's playing his part. In many ways, he's doing a service to the country. There's a few things I disagree with what he's doing, but it's not, when I say stuff like that, it's not like, oh, I hate Ron or I hate Trump. I mean, Trump has annoyed me more than Ron, to be fair. However, I'm just trying to say like, hey, we can't just sit on the sidelines and wait to see what they do. We have to be a part of the society, be a part of the culture. And that's when it's going to calm down, because hopefully people come to their senses and be like, oh no, that is true. That's better for the country. God bless you guys. Have a beautiful week. Once again, 20% off sale. I just want to say it's what's the sale? 5 days only. I got to find it real quick because I just announced it. There's only like 2 days or 3 days left, but if I could find it real quick, I'll put it on the screen for you. I'm pretty sure I'm going to find it right here. Yeah, so it's on the bottom right here. 5 days only. You see it right there. That's the sale. It's really like 3 days now. I think it ends Monday. It's a 20% off sale. I'm not just saying this. I had a conversation with somebody that I'm looking at products with. We might have to bump the prices up eventually. I'm going to get different products. I'm trying to get into a different industry, get you guys some other good stuff. But the 5 days only, I would say this is going to be the cheapest this stuff is ever going to be. It's a real 20% off sale. The prices have not moved. I didn't bump them up and put them down. So if you want to get the cheapest, anything on my site right now, this is going to be the cheapest time to get it. I mean, I would assume by Black Friday, I'm probably going to have to move maybe the prices a little bit and get different products. So if you want it 5 days only, this is the best time. And I mean that. God bless you guys. Have a good one. I'll be back.